Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
In the immortal words of Bonnie Tyler, when the sun is burning out and the night is pouring in, now is the time to run. Run, boy. Now is the time to hide. No, that's not from Total Eclipse of the Heart, but it seems apropos tonight as our season begins to wane and we head just west of Washington, D.C. to a narrow circuit that may not have ever hosted a Grand Prix, but in its glory days saw Trans Am and Can-Am navigate its 2 miles and 10 turns. And tonight it plays host to the longest, and actually not tonight, but normally plays host to the longest tenured amateur road racing series. That's the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series. And it's seen its share of amateur racing luminaries such as national champions Paul Newman, Randy Canfield, and Rob Hines attack the 100 mile plus shoot. And given that such as, let's try this again. And given that others such as 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson and Tom Cruise have raced there as well, it is definitely going to make for a very exciting evening tonight as we head to the course that some of us here in the announce booth like to call home, if we can actually get our words out, Summit Point Raceway. Welcome everyone to the penultimate round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup presented by the SCCA Foundation and Proforma Elite here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Mumbles Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and tonight for the twin 30-minute sprint races we thankfully have Jonathan Grabowski in the virtual production truck. He's going to be bringing you all the best camera angles and action that Apex Racing TV is known for. And so good evening, Larry, and welcome to my little slice of heaven, Summit Point Raceway.
You're not going to make me drive there, are you? Because I've just gotten off the road after about 1,400 miles home. But I'm here to watch, yes, your backyard, your Summit Point Raceway, where we can watch another couple of rounds here. We get like 2 rounds, I guess 2 half rounds here tonight with the 30-minute sprints with our Club Sports, our Toyotas, and then of course our STs and our Mazdas. And these classes are going to be intense. This is a perfect track, to me, the perfect track for this size of car, the style of racing. And I think we're getting to that critical point in the season where this is really going to be important to get strong finishes Let's see what kind of battles we end up with these really quick sprint races. No pit stops tonight. It's all about just go, go, go.
Yeah, it is, Larry. And, coming off of events at Okayama, at places like Sebring, this little club track in West Virginia, it actually has pretty much everything that you would hope to see in a race for these Toyota GR86 Cup cars and the Mazda MX-5 Cup cars. It's got a long straightaway where drafting is really key. It's got some very tight, slow corners that you have to be very careful with entry. You've got this carousel area here, what we like to call the talent section of the track, where if you turn it a little early at turn 6, it's going to bite you all the way until you get to the final corner at turn 10. And then, we've got high-speed corners here, like the final corner, turn 10, and we've got that chute, the downhill turn 4, which is actually the fastest corner on the course. It takes commitment, and it also takes a steady foot on the brake pedal, as you have to slow the car down from about 115 down to about 40 to make turn 5. So it should be a very good time. A little bit smaller field than I expected, Larry, but not everybody has the jonesing for this course like I do.
Yeah, that, and there's some other things that may be going on, but the ones that are here are looking for points. They're looking for an opportunity to score and set up a strong season finale. We've got some of our club sport competitors, Eric Violet, Andrew Sharp. We got some of our Mazda competitors. We got Travis Schwenke out there tonight. Mike Chase will be in the lineup. David Payton. So there's definitely going to be some competition, and I think we're looking forward to getting things going.
All right, so let's do this, Larry. Why don't we turn things over to Kevin Ford? I can talk all night long about this racetrack. I've been racing at it for over 25 years. But let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Summit Point Raceway.
Welcome, everyone, to Summit Point Raceway. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 2-mile, 10-turn road course. This place is really a wonderful course to drive, and especially in these Mazdas. Well, let's head down our front straightaway here. As you'll notice, our pit exit to the right. Very long straight, nearly 3,000 feet in length. As we head across the stripe here at the flag stand, we'll get our run down the hill here into this very hard brake zone of turn 1, known as the loop. Certainly overtaking happens here coming down into this brake zone. See a lot of drivers trying to make moves down into this corner. As we exit, we're going to track out wide, get up through the gears here around turn 2. This will set us up for the entry to turn 3 as we stay track right here for this next left-hander. Known as Wagon Bend, bit of a tricky corner, blind on entry, but it wraps back. Not a lot of track out space there for the exit. This will bring us down what is known as the chute through turn 4. This is a very fast entry, but coming right off of it, you have to really nail these brakes and get down through the gears for this very tight left-hander of turn 5. This will set us up for the loop, right-hander of 6. This will bring us into turn 7, and then through 8, and then back to the right, wide open through here. Got to really set up that rotation early for that corner coming out of 9. And then down in towards Paddock Bend here. There's your pit entry to the right. Very fast entry here into this final corner. Just a brush of the brakes. Let that car track out to get some good speed on that exit to head down this 3,000-foot straightaway once again. Coming across the stripe, there you go. There's your track guide for the incredible Summit Point Raceway. Thank you for being with us.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of Summit Point Raceway. And Larry, there are going to be some pretty quick laps around here. We had our drivers, the MX-5 drivers were running in the low 120s, about 120 and a half. The Mazda, the Toyota, let's try that again. The Mazda drivers, about 1:20 and a half. The Toyota drivers, 1:19 and a half around here. So, hopefully with these very short 30-minute races, we may not see any real interaction between the street tuners and the club sport drivers.
May not. With this the similar pace and with kind of a little bit smaller turnout, And these cars, really these short races, I think is going to have a lot to do with not seeing too much interaction, which just means it's going to be a fair fight near the front of both fields. I think this will be very interesting. Those who show up may get rewarded with strong points. Those that aren't here may be a little bit regretting that when they look at the scoreboard come Tuesday morning.
Yeah, especially since almost every racer here has had to run this course at one time or another, just even to get out of the rookie classes. So as Larry, we've got qualifying underway now, and as we always do here in the Touring Car Cup, we do send our drivers out for what is known as lone qualifying, as if they have the track all to themselves. We give them 4 laps to set the grid and set their fastest time in order to set the grid for our first race here tonight. And with the results of our first race, we will then invert the top 5 Mazdas, we'll invert the top 5 Toyotas for race number 2 this evening here. And early on in the Toyotas, in the club sports, we've got Mariano Barrios from Friendly Neighborhood Racing, currently your fastest driver on track with a 1:19.88, then Tom Rathke and Andrew Sharp. Rathke was your fastest driver in the Toyotas in practice this week. As I said, he got down to 1:19.05. In the Mazdas, it's Mike Chase, currently your fastest driver with Chris Thorman, and who do we have here? I think Travis Schwenke, currently 3rd fastest. So
yeah, so very close there between Chase and Schwenke, just at that .4s. It's not over yet, though.
All right, so if we take a quick look here, and you'll notice as we've got some times coming in, we have our timing pylon on the left-hand side of the screen. They're separated out by the 4 different classes. We've got Club Sport, which are our Mazda. The Club Sports are probably the GR86s, the Toyotas, the Street Tuners are the Mazdas. I'll get it right eventually this season, I swear to God. And if we take a look at the sides of the cars, we see that their markings for their classes pretty much match up with what we have on the ticker. If we take a look at Mario Barrios, who is our fastest Club Sport Pro driver right now, we see that the number board on the side of the car, that number 424, the end plates on the wings, the mirrors, and also the windshield banner, they are in black. Again, matching up what we have there on the side of the screen for you. In Club Sport AM, let's see if we can find one of our AM. We'll go over to Tom Jenkins, and the AM drivers, they've got orange number boards, mirrors, end plates, and windshield banners as they do on our ticker. And if we then move over to Street Tuner, which are at the Mazda MX-5 drivers, we'll look at Chris Thorman, and Thorman was our fastest MX-5 driver in practice this week. The D2D sim racing driver, the number 60 car. He has, as you can see there, red number boards and mirrors and windshield banner. It's actually not windshield banner on the Mazdas, but at least number boards and mirrors. And then in the AM category, we've got somebody like Steve Daniel there from SKKJ, and green mirrors and green number boards. That's how you'll pick out the AM Street Tuner drivers.
Yep, and so not too many of them, just the 2 of them, with Mr. Harris, Mr. Daniel in that STM category, but it's been a pretty good fight here throughout the season between those. But take a look at the ST Pro, Travis Schwenke right now trailing behind Mr. Mike Chase right now, currently provisional pole sitter. Chase with on his 4th lap right now, 4th lap right now. Travis Schwenke also on his 4th lap, so the 2 of them battling it out. And I tell you, I've seen this track. It's tough to pass unless you get a good run off a 10 down that front straight, as you know. And so having an advantage on pole can really pay off, especially in these short sprint races with no opportunity to really take anybody in the pits exchange because there are no pit stops. So it'll be great to see how these battles wage, knowing that if you can get on pole, maybe that's your chance to have that advantage. As Mike Chase just laid down that 120.2, and Travis Schwenke comes right back with a 120.2 of his own, and the 2 of them just 80 thousandths apart, and I think they've each got 4 laps in the books, so that'll close the books on their qualifying tonight to see if anybody else has a chance to catch them.
All right, so we'll switch over now and take a look here at, looks like most of our drivers on the Toyota side have put in fast laps, with the exception of Matt Porter. Matt Porter is on his very last lap. That's Schwenke's Orion Racing teammate here in Club Sport Pro, and currently sitting 3rd fastest. Let's see if he can improve upon the 1:19.99 that he had on his previous lap. and he knocks about a tenth off Larry. That'll be good to put him on the outside of the front row next to Mariano Barrios. And hopefully when Matt finishes up, we'll have him here in a few moments as our pre-race.
The other one we're looking at is, of course, that guy right there, Eric Violet, who always seems to delay his start of qualifying. And here at this relatively short track, he's got that opportunity. So he's just now finishing his first lap. Let's see if he's down in the 19s or still be looking up at Barrios or Porter.
All right, and as Violet crosses the track, I think, Larry, he might have had an off track on that first lap.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So first lap invalidated. Violet's going to have 3 more attempts to put in a time. If we take a look at some of our other classes here in Club Sport AM, that's the AM category for the Toyotas. Tom Jenkins, your fastest driver with Leo Dragotta. Second, actually, Leo's in the pro classes, so it's Tom Jenkins, then Paul Carey, then Dale Maxwell, and then in the Mazdas, Travis Schwenke, and then Mike Chase, as we talked about, and then in AM, Harrison Daniel. And Larry, the first signs of the Klim Club have appeared.
They are
Christine
here.
Klimovich has checked into the chat. Hi, Christine.
As always, well represented. Cheer on the Klimovich. So we're keeping an eye here on Eric Violet on now what is his second flyer. See if he can get a clean one this time. Flashes his lights at us. That's nice of him to do. And that puts himself right to the top of the board. 19.7.
All right, so there you go. Eric Violet turning in a 1:19.79. That will put him on pole as everybody else has completed their 4 flying laps. Let's do this. We've got Matt Porter sitting in the green room right now. Larry, he is driver of the number 19 Orion Racing Club Sport Pro Toyota. Let's bring him on in.
All right, Matt Porter has joined us. So Matt here from the Club Sport Pro class, as Greg just mentioned. Matt, you're right now looks like sitting third on the grid for tonight. How you like your chances here at this Twin at Summit?
I'm happy with third so far. I haven't done any practice or anything this week. Just started driving a couple hours ago for the first time yet. Just figuring out how much fuel I need for the race now. So we're really prepared today.
Yeah, it's good to make those decisions early, but with a 30-minute sprint, at least you don't have to worry too much about pit strategies or any of that tonight. But we're watching. You've got some fast rivals there around you. Of course, Eric Violet just put up on the pole right now. Mariano's quick. Then of course you can Angel Sharp as well. You've gotten a win already in the season, but where do you think you think you got a chance to finish top 2, top 3 when it comes to the final season points?
I think there's always a chance. We'll see how this goes. The last couple sprint races haven't gone my way for the second race at least. Okayama last time I crashed out, so if I can keep it clean, there's a chance.
Yeah, and keeping it clean is always important. As we're now at what are we in round 5, I think, of the season, round 6. I can't keep count, but it's we've got a couple of rounds in. And
round 7, Larry.
Yeah, I'm taking Greg's lead when it comes to counting. Math is not our strong suit. But as we get down to the season, points are critical. As you come into this right now, sitting in 4th, but just about 10 points up from 5th, about 10 points down from 3rd. Do you keep track of that kind of stuff, or is you more about just race each week and enjoy the trip?
I just found out I'm 4th in the standings, so I don't
answers
know.
That question. Yeah, and that's that's good though. I guess do you find that just keeps you loose? You don't worry too much about points. Just come in and want to race against these guys.
Yeah, it's all about coming here for the fair, clean, very close competition. It's great racing against these guys.
Yeah, and that Club Sport class and that pro level, just some of the best that we have seen. We've seen some great races already, and I think the history of Summit is that it always generates more of those great races. Hopefully, you'll be able to pick this up quick without too much practice and warm up this week. But we're going to be getting down to this in a couple of minutes here. You got anybody you want to give a shout out, a special mention to here as we're getting ready to get going?
Hi, Mom.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully she's watching, and as everybody else, lots of fans enjoy the races. But Matt, good luck to you, and maybe with any luck, we'll get back on here for a podium interview at the end of the night.
Right on. I'll talk to you later.
All right, everybody, there you go. That's Matt Porter from Orion Racing, who just realized he's running fourth in the championship currently. And yeah, took the win. Larry, I think he had to win both at round 4 at Phillip Island, and he also took one of the wins at Okayama. Remember, Okayama was also a twin 30-minute race set up there. So he's got two wins, or 1.5 wins on the season, I guess.
1.5.
All right, so I want to remind everybody that tonight's qualifying session was brought to you by Proforma Elite. Visit them at proformaetg.com. And we've now, Larry, wrapped up. All of our drivers have completed their 4 laps. Eric Violet didn't quite make it to 4 laps, but he already had the car on pole and dropped his qualifying time down to a 119.77. So just about 11 hundredths of a second up on Mariano Barrios there to take pole.
Yep, he's got some pace, but we know the starts of this long straightaway here at Summit can be maybe a disadvantage sometimes for the pole sitter. So we'll see if he's able to position himself well to get that advantage on the front straight before they get down to turn 1.
Yeah, indeed. And, I think we saw even at the beginning of qualifying, some of these drivers were going for their out laps, having, especially on the Mazda side, having some issues with cold tires, going down into the carousel over by turn 6. A little bit extra throttle there could definitely send you around over by turn 7. So we'll see how things play out here, but it should be a very good night of racing at this very tight track. And, we talk about that strong draft on the front straight. There are a couple of other places, and as I've been, I look at events at this track, Larry, maybe a little bit differently than almost every other event on the schedule. That I look maybe with a little more of a fine eye as to what people do and the lines that they take around here. There are some opportunities for passing here that maybe some of these drivers don't know about, but I don't want to let their spotters know.
Give away your secrets now, Greg.
Exactly.
They have to pay for that school that you can teach to learn all of Greg's secrets.
That's as a matter of fact, yes, they do. All right, so Larry, we've got the field now lining up here on the front straight, and they are going to have their pace lap around 2 mile 10 turn Summit Point Raceway. As always, we've got a live starter who will give the command for racing to start here. But let's run down the starting order. We'll start off with Club Sport drivers. Those are our Toyota GR86 Cup cars. And starting at the top on the pole is going to be Eric Violet with Mariano Barrios starting next to him. Matt Porter and Andrew Sharp will make up row 2. Then we've got Tom Rathke and Tom Jenkins. They will be row number 3. Leo Dragotta and Jeff Jacobs will make up row number 4. Paul Carey and Dale Maxwell, row number 5. Dave Klimovich and Rodney Carey will make up row number 6 for the Toyotas.
All right, taking a look over at our Mazdas. Not a huge field tonight between our pros and our Rams, but on the pole tonight, just barely, Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing. He's got that pole by just 85 thousandths over Chase Motorsports' Mike Chase. On row 2, it's going to be Chris Thorman from D2D and his teammate, David Payton. Those two occupying the second row. And then we'll have the battle of the STAMs. You got Victor Harris, got into the 20s there, 20.8, just a couple tenths ahead of his rival from SKKJ Racing, Steve Daniel. That'll be our grid for the Mazdas, and what you can see is do a little bit of regridding, as looks like the default grid was set up kind of mixing the Toyotas and Mazdas. We're going to unmix them and do split starts. Toyotas will get to go first, and then maybe, a quarter mile back, we'll get our Mazdas rolling.
Indeed. So they're doing the little grid dance there. We'll see it a little bit later as well as we get ready for our second race of the evening. But indeed, getting all 12 Toyotas up front, and then all, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mazdas, all 3 rows of the Mazdas back behind, and they will get underway here momentarily. And no, I do not believe that this is going to be a standing start. Hopefully they'll start moving at some point.
Yeah, right where they are, 2/3 the way down the front straight. I'm sure that'd be fantastic. There'd be no problems with that.
Yeah, they were just waiting for race control to make sure that everybody was in the correct order. And so their pace lap will now begin.
Calling about a 10-second gap between the Toyotas to the Mazda start. So that'll put the Mazdas on that that last straightaway there before turn 10, while the Toyotas get the green flag on the front straight. And then they get to battle it out going into this super tight turn 1. always a treacherous turn one if there is one out there.
Yeah, and Larry, I think probably a big advantage here of not being behind the pace car right now and letting and having to keep up with that pace car's pace is that Eric Violette can really slow the pace down here. You can see him doing quite a bit of scrubbing to try and get some heat in the tires. We'll watch to see if the brake lights come on, if the drivers are trying to drag the brakes any in order to get some heat in there. But, you know, one of my fears earlier about, well, not fears, but, you know, things to watch for on the opening laps would be whether or not these drivers had enough heat in the tires. I know that it's pretty clear the Toyotas are doing it. I'm wondering if we can maybe jump back and see what the Mazdas do as they come down in the turn 4, and it looks like for the most part here, it looks like they're using the brakes a little bit. Chris Thorman not very aggressive weaving there to get heat in the tires, as we see just ahead of Thorman. Mike Chase maybe doing a little bit there, but they will start gridding up 2 by 2 as they come around turn 5, and it looks like the first pack here, the Toyotas, starting to grid up fairly well as well, Larry.
Yep, we're getting there, and they'll pack them up, pack up, pair up, as they say here. And yeah, this will be interesting down this front straight. We've seen this front 4 grouping very, very tight. But as you mentioned earlier, Tom Rathke was quick in practice as well. So don't count out Tom. He's shown signs at different times here in this car of being near the front. Could be his night tonight. So maybe we'll have a 5-6 car, who knows, battle here. But it's going to be close as we come around turn 10 here to take the green.
All right, starter now has the field, watching over with Eric Violette and Mariano Barrios on the front row. And green flag is in the air for our Toyota GR86 drivers. And we are racing here at Summit Point as Eric Violette gets a pretty decent jump. Looks like he gets about a half a car length up on Barrios. But Larry, we can already see where that outside lane, they were starting to push inward a little bit, trying to pinch Violette down and go and compromise his entry into the corner. And Barrios takes a wide run all the way around the outside of turns 1 and 2 and takes over the lead as the Mazdas now get their green flag, and they'll start heading down into turn 1 as well here. But great opening, great start there from Barrios.
Yeah, great run for Barrios to have that outside line, to keep the nose ahead there. And as you know, that outside line opens up easily, and you can get a good run now down to turn 3. So good job for Barrios to take advantage of that and take it away, whatever advantage that Violet may have had being on pole. But over in the Mazdas, it's Travis Schwenke holding on to his lead position as they come up to this turn 3 for the first time, leading his rival there just by the smallest bits in Mr. Chase. That's it. Now we got a whole train, all 6 Mazdas together down through the chute here at 4.
Yeah, and we saw that there might have been a little bit of contact between Chase and Schwenke as they turned in for turn number 1, and Chase did not have the same run around the outside there as we saw from Barrios in the Toyotas. He's going to slot into second here, and we could already see where I think some of these Mazda drivers having to deal with the cold rear tires as they come through the carousel section and make their way up out of turn 8 and come under the bridge. And a little bit interesting for me to see them all the way around the left-hand side of the track there. But I saw there as Chase took a quick look to the inside on Schwenke and did not make a move there. Probably would have been a very poorly thought out move there early on. As we jump back over to the Toyotas, and there is Tom Jenkins, who is your AM category leader. And he is under attack by Jeff Jacobs as they go side by side down through the chute. Jacobs has position. Yeah. And Jacob had position going into the corner. He takes over the position, and that, though, brings Paul Carey right up to the back of Tom Jenkins in the battle for the lead in AM.
Yeah, Carey on the back of Jenkins as they went into 5 looked really close. Maybe they avoided contact, but it was a near rub between them. We're on board now with Carey as he's trying to chase down Jenkins coming up here to turn 10. You see how smooth they have to be as they turn in for this. Just kind of a little glide in the brakes, light flick, and then back hard of the power for the longest straightaway on the course. You got to run that thing out to get a good momentum run and try to use some of the draft as they now are still drafting each other. Good run here for Dale Maxwell behind Paul Carey. So keep your eyes. He pops. He's on the inside.
And he comes very deep down to the
Oh,
inside,
in
maybe a
contact.
little bit to the right. Yeah, in contact
Yeah.
there. And that is going to drive now Rodney Carey's got his own problems, but Paul Carey's got issues as he now drops back to third and AM. I was looking at Rodney Carey, who just took his car into the pit lane, so bad lap for the Careys.
Yeah, so Paul got into the back of Jenkins in a braking as he was trying to outbrake Dale Maxwell. Maxwell putting all that pressure on. Maxwell now gets a position. Carey loses a lot of time, but here's the battle for the lead in our Toyotas. On the inside, Barrios, the outside, Violet. That inside line means everything, but if he can hold the outside, Violet's got a chance as they continue around here through the S's.
Yeah, and Barrios didn't come across the nose of Violet when he had the chance, but he should be able to make the run up. Now, Larry, if they go side by side into turn 10, probably the biggest recipient of this move will be Matt Porter sitting in third. He'll be able to carry speed and maybe able to draft right by both of them.
He may have had to hesitate. I'm watching in the fourth place, Andrew Sharp. He actually may have the advantage because he got the best run up that corner, but you can see already Porter on the outside of Barrios. All five of them. Rafke up in there. We're going to go 3 wide into 1. We're going to make it 4 wide? Not yet, but it is 3. Solid. It's Violet in front. Porter on the outside. Barrios on the inside. And then Sharp taking the inside. Ducks underneath up to that third spot. He's going to remain out there. He's going to continue to push Barrios. He's going to try to take him the outside 3, and I don't know that you can do 2 wide through here. Well, they do behind him, though, between Porter and Rafke went 2 wide. That is some close racing up to there. This now is starting to allow Eric Violet to get a little bit of a margin as Barrios was under pressure from Sharp. Porter and Rafke doing their thing. And behind them, I think it's Leo Jagoda in the other Orion car.
Yeah, just trying to sneak down the inside.
There he is. On Rafke.
As both Porter and also Dragoda try to come underneath Rafke going into turn 7 and up the hill to 8. Wow, Rafke getting the very edge of the curb, dropped wheel into the grass there. A lot of times that'll send drivers over, drivers right. He manages to hold on to it there, but there's Matt Porter getting around Tom Rafke, but Rafke, having taken a traditional line through 10, got a great exit, and he's going to probably be able to return the favor here, Larry, as they head down into turn 1.
Yeah, well, they better watch it, or they're going to lose Eric Violet out in front.
Yeah.
As they continue to battle. But look at this. You see this grouping still side by side. Still down there as Porter continues around the outside, trying to do something on Rafke and get a run. Dragoda's not really helping his teammate, pushing him along at this point. He's just sitting back, kind of waiting for an opportunity of his own.
And all the while, Barrios has managed to get right back up to the back of Violet, Larry. Actually, no, that's Andrew Sharp, I think, that's right behind him.
It is. Barrios and Sharp now.
Yeah.
Sort of working together a little bit better than behind the group behind them with Rafke and the others. These two are understanding the position and how they can help push each other along to catch back up. That is Rafke.
I was going to say, Rafke got it all wrong coming down through the chute, and we see him now on the pit lane with a lot of damage. We'll try and go back and take a look and see what happened to him in a moment. Yep, let's see if we can bring that up.
So you see Rafke here as they've come out of 3, heading down to the chute at 4. He's on the inside. He's got on the, I think it's Dragoda on his outside. And the two of them touch there at 4, and that is a high speed. As you talked about, the fastest corner on the course. Rafke ends up turtle side up. That is not good.
No, not at all. And we'll see if anything comes of that, because it looked like there may have been contact between he and Leo Dragoda.
I think there was, yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's see if we could take another look at this, Larry, from overhead.
Yep, again, so you got Dragoda's on the outside as they turn in. Rafke's on the inside. And there is a little contact. Rafke probably could have been a little tighter to the curbing there. Drifted just a hair. Didn't take much. These cars are very tippy. They're very squirrely when they get fully loaded. And Rafke, all it took, a little bit of contact, and then he's into the wall.
Indeed, and given the downhill nature of that corner, Larry, it's not a corner you want to get out of the throttle. Otherwise, you'll end up with exactly what we saw there from Rafke, where the car will start to push a little wide. and perhaps have the rear end of the car unload a little bit. But let's move back over to our club sport driver, or probably our street tuner drivers, street tuner pro drivers here as we're watching the battle for the lead. We've got Travis Schwenke, Chris Thorman, and Thorman's teammate from D2D, David Payton. And then a couple car lengths back from there, we've got our AM category leader, that's Victor Harris, along with Mike Chase and Steve Daniel.
Well, Mike Chase is the one that I'm kind of looking for here. Remember, he started up on that front row, just off to the side of Schwenke when they took the green. Now you can see him all the way at the back of this train of 5. You got those two D2Ds in between.
And here we can see exactly what happened as they went into turn 3, Larry. I think he had I think he had gone off here. Now notice he took the entrance to turn 3 from very far to the inside, and there you go. That's what'll happen.
Oh, he's lucky he didn't lose it entirely. You know what it's like to go to that beach out there. It's not a sunshine day. There's no ocean and suntan lotion going on over there. That is a dangerous place to be, but he managed to get out of there and saved it, so he remains in the fight. Also, just to note, the incident between Jagoda and Rafki was looked at. Stewards say no action.
All right, so there we go. There, as Larry, we watched this fight at the front of our Club Sport Pro field. And I think from the looks of it, Barrios is getting a little impatient here because we don't see Sharp pulling up any closer to our leader, Eric Violet. And there are definitely some places around this course where Mariano Barrios can carry a little bit more speed. Let's see if he pops to the inside. Of course, the danger, Larry, if he does this, is that they may lose more ground to the leader.
He's not. Watch him. He's bump drafting. He's not going to pop. He knows that this race is critical here. We're only about a third of the way in. He doesn't want to lose ground to Violet, so right now he's just pacing himself. Good patience here for Barrios, staying behind Sharp. In fact, if he can get a better run off of 10, he can even help push and real bump draft Sharp to catch up and stay with. They're only half a second apart, but every little bit counts with these cars.
Yeah, now currently in the points championship, Larry, in Club Sport Pro, it is Eric Violet, currently your leader by 11 points over Sharp. There are 6 points that separate Sharp from Vermilion Motorsports, and then we've got Mariano Barrios, who is currently sitting 3rd in the championship.
Well, take a this battle now. This is after the contact with Rafki. This is Leonardo Jagoda, and Jagoda's dropped in behind now Jeff Jacobs. Is Leo now running, I think that's in the 6th overall spot behind Jacobs. The two of them have lost a little bit of ground to the group in front of them.
Yeah, indeed. They've got probably
There's
a good
Porter.
15 car lengths up to Porter just ahead.
Yeah, that little bit of contact, I think, got Leo a little bit behind, allowed Jacobs to duck underneath. But look at this now with the draft. Maybe now Jagoda can get by. He pops right around start finish. Let's see if he's got the inside now. Can maybe his teammate would pop, maybe get a little bit of draft off of Porter in front. Porter stays on the driving line. Good braking zone, good clean pass there for Jagoda as they come out of 2, head up to 3.
Yeah, and for a moment there, it looked as though Jacobs was going to try an over-under and realize that Jagoda had just come over enough to kind of block his pathway through. Let's go back over now to probably to Street Tuner. I swear I'm going to get it right eventually, where Chris Thorman had retaken the lead. Travis Schwenke now takes a look to the inside on Thorman, and Thorman, can he make the run around the outside? He does. Comes right back across the nose of the 16, and now it is David Payton's turn, who's also taking a look down at the 16 car. Cannot make the run into 3.
Yeah, those teammates now booking the two D2D teammates bookending that Orion driver in the middle. There's contact, and that's going to be Schwenke going for the ride, and right behind him it looks like.
And
that's
and Larry, all three, both the D2D racers go around, as also have Thorman and Payton end up getting caught up in that. Actually, I think Payton actually spun on his own under braking going in the 5, but after there was contact between Thorman and Schwenke, Thorman went around as well. Wow, and that now puts
huge.
Look at this. That now puts Mike Chase in the lead.
Yep. All right, let's get
Street Tuner Pro.
Yeah, watch this replay. So there's a bit of a late braking, I think, on Payton, who's the 3rd of the 3 going into 4. Watch the braking of Payton. Yep, he's late on the brakes. He gets Schwenke. But then the 60th, Thorman just spins on his own.
On his
at the
own.
apex. I wonder if he was looking in the mirrors and see what's going on. Just lost concentration. The car went around.
And
Wow.
we'll see in a moment if we can pick that up. But now we're looking at Mike Chase. He is your new Street Tuner Pro leader. And right behind him, there he is, Victor Harris, who is our Street Tuner AM leader. He is currently running second in the category.
Yeah,
let's
so
take a
another
look
replay.
let's take a look and see what happened to our former leader.
Yeah, so I think that's why I think he might have looked at his mirrors and went, "What's going on?" Oh no! And then he loses it, and he luckily doesn't get touched by even by the 96 there, Steve Daniel going on by. He manages to gather it up and go. He's still then running third in class, but he's pretty far down from these guys, or second in class, I should say. As now, like Chase leads the way, but right behind him is that AM leader, Victor Harris.
Yeah, and now Steve Daniel went to check up for the car sitting mid-track. He is a very long distance back from Victor Harris
And Victor's got that draft of the pro leader as well, so that's going to play to his advantage. But remember, we're inverting the top 5 in each category of the Mazdas or the Toyotas.
Both the Mazdas and the Toyotas.
Not within each of the subclasses, but just the overall category. So opportunities for the second race. As right now, for example, in the Mazdas, David Payton's currently 5th, Chris Thorman's currently 4th. They might be a 1-2 if they finish in this order to start the next race. So, but we have a much more interesting race going on right now, and that is here in Club Sport Pro. Look at this.
As both Sharp and Barrios have now closed things up to almost or just about 0.3 of a second to Eric Violet. They are definitely within the draft here, that the working together and not attempting to leapfrog one another have allowed them to catch back up to our leader, Violet. And this is where the draft with these cars, which is not quite as strong as with the Mazdas, but strong nonetheless, really helps it. It's enough. You can see the run that Sharp gets.
Game on. Yep, look at this already. First opportunity, and down the inside goes Sharp. He's got the position. Can he hold it? Outside line to Violet. Sharp's got it.
And Sharp, well, I'll tell you, Sharp had the opportunity to come right across the nose of Violet. He decided not to do it. He was able to eke out maybe another 3 or 4 feet so that he could carry through into turn 3 in the lead. Barrios had, I think, a little bit of an opportunity there, maybe a missed opportunity. Ended up losing that ground coming out of turn 2 as he was trapped to the inside behind both of them.
He's showing really good patience already. I think he's still patient only at the halfway point of this 30-minute sprint. He knows there's a lot of laps to go. Let things sort out. The key here to these 3 is have your fun, fight a little bit. Matt Porter is only 4 seconds or so back. If they fight too much, Porter could become a part of this.
He might come right back into this.
And
now Barrios taking a look down to the inside on Violet.
Just reminding Eric that he's back there. That's all that was. Has such pace. Running right around that 120, high 19s. That is moving. Oh, Barrios going to try it. I think Violet let him go. I think Sharp has no choice but to let him go.
Well, and I think Sharp probably thought as far to the inside as Barrios was, if Barrios outbraked himself, he would have come right across the nose.
And speaking of contact, yeah, that's the 68 of Jenkins, I believe, with Dale Maxwell in that 111. Yeah, so they had a little bit of contact there in the turn 1-2 complex. I think that's where that was. Yeah,
that was over in turn 2, and so Jacobs, who was running 6th, right back behind him there, Dale Maxwell and Tom Jenkins. That was the battle for the lead I'm going to get it right eventually, in Club Sport AM. And so they're both going to lose a little bit of ground. We'll see if Paul Carey and David Klimovich can make up a little bit of the ground there. They were still a couple seconds back. Actually, Klimovich now, I think, almost 10 or 11 seconds back from Paul Carey. He's got a long way to go.
Yeah, Victor Harris doing a great job right now, just kind of staying in the shadows with Mike Chase. The two of them not pressuring each other. They are the respective leaders in the 2 classes, the Pro and the AM STs. Inside Victor Harris knows it. He has a chance to win this thing, but why bother trying now? Let's just sit back, save the car a little bit, wait till maybe you're at the 20 or 25 minute if you're going to try and make that pass to win the overall.
All right, let's jump back over to Club Sport here, Larry, and again, our new leader, Mariano Barrios, with
It's
Eric
his turn.
Violet second, Sharp
Everybody
third.
gets a turn.
That's right.
Got them flying down into turn 5 and having to slow that thing down for what I think is the slowest corner on the course.
Yeah, you go from the fastest corner to the slowest corner, and it's very. Knowing how these cars deal with weight transfer, it's very interesting for me, Larry, watching them come through turn 4 down through the chute and keeping that car all the way over driver's right in order to be able to open the car up and carry as much speed as they can through the slowest corner, turn 5, and the car doesn't get as upset as I thought it would with the weight transfer there, because they literally have to hold the car over driver's right. And just very, these little things that I don't notice necessarily behind the wheel, because I would drive that section a little bit differently. But here we go, Barrios to the inside with Sharp behind, trying to hold Eric Violet out.
Sharp was bump drafting Barrios, and there's contact again, this time after the apex. Barrios a little bit squirrely. I don't think he anticipated getting the bump from Sharp behind down the front straightaway there.
Yeah, carried
and
more
that,
speed.
Yeah, that pushed that braking point just a little bit further. He's still gathering himself. I think that really shook him, that whole contact. He did not mean to get squirrely, missed the apex, got to slide out and hit Violet, but we continue. We are still 1, 2, 3, just in whatever random throw them on the floor and pick them up sort of the order we've got going right now.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was interesting. I think you hit it spot on, Larry, where he was probably still a little unsettled by that he pulled the car all the way over driver's left and literally let both Sharp and Violet go by.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just needed a second to gather himself. Knew he didn't have the momentum anyway. Why bother interrupting this train as it goes?
Yeah.
Just, let things go.
As long as he could get into the draft, he was going to still be there.
Matt Porter is only 2.5 seconds behind these guys. He is gaining quickly. He's been the quickest car out there. He's got a chance at this. He's not that far back.
No,
so,
he knocked 2 seconds off from just the last lap, Larry.
Yeah, so that's why I say that may be also what Barrios was thinking. He says, I don't want to disrupt this up front. Let's just keep this train going and keep an eye that Porter's back there. We don't need to get him anywhere near us. Look at that. You can see Barrios losing ground to Porter lap after lap. And that's what happens here. That's, I think, what might have been going through Mariano's mind when he had that little bit of a slide through turn 1, saying, uh-oh, we're just going to make this 4-car train. We don't need that. Porter is pushing now. Porter was almost 2 seconds faster than Mariano on the last lap because of Mariano's change of position, but he was actually still 7/10 quicker than Andrew Sharp, who's leading this train. So yeah, Matt Porter is still on his way. We got about 9.5 minutes to go in this thing. Any fighting in the front 3 is going to bring Porter right back into this. This battle's back. This is the Maxwell and Jenkins. This is your leader, right? The lead for Club Sport AM. Maxwell over Jenkins at this point, but remember they had contact just a couple laps ago. Jenkins slid back. He's recovered. They come into this race, I believe. Maxwell comes in 4th in points. Jenkins comes in 2nd.
7, yeah.
Litovich has the points lead. He's currently 4th in the running order tonight.
Yeah, and of course, Larry, both the 2 races here tonight, they each count for half points. It's still considered just a single round event here.
Yeah.
And as we came into the evening, Klimovich with 7-point advantage over Jenkins, and then it was another 9 points back to Rodney Carey, Dale Maxwell, another single point back from there.
And as you mentioned earlier, Rodney Carey came in tonight 3rd in points. He had troubles in the opening lap. He's pretty far back. He is running, and he's back there. This is Klimovich. We're just talking about him coming into the points lead. Has a spin.
And that's over at turn 2.
Yeah.
Let's take a look and see what happened to Klimovich. As he was there side by side with
Paul Carey. Yep, and Klimovich might have. Carey just cuts into him. It looks like Klimovich.
Well, Klimovich popped the curb there at turn 1 also, and I think he probably had to. He didn't have a lot of room to driver's left.
Yeah, maybe it's tough. That curb is really tall. This car already gets tipped. If you pop that curb, you're going to be bicycling quick. But we flash back to our leaders. There you go. Violet still over Barrios and Sharp. Porter just 1.8 back from them. Look at this. He is in this game, and now they've got potential traffic in front of them. Maybe a couple laps still to go, but it could happen.
That's right. So 7 minutes remaining in this first of two 30-minute races. And as you said, now, Larry, we had Porter take another full second off of that lead.
Oh, he'll be in this draft train. He will be on the back of this threesome the next time they come into turn one. You watch. He's got tremendous pace right now.
Yeah, if not earlier. We saw there the map of the track there up top, and we have some of our Mazdas just now going into turn 6. There you go, just ahead. They may get to him, Larry, possibly before they even get to turn 10.
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers as we're on board with Eric Violet, the leader here. Look at the time delta. He's only 1.1 as Porter behind Sharp. And that's essentially draft range right there at that 1.1.
Yes.
So a good run off of 10. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4 in some order, because it could be Barrios, Sharp, or Violet still leading this thing. Porter's gonna get the run of runs. Maybe right here. Look how smooth he is through 10.
Yes.
Wow.
Great line through there, and just carries the speed past the apex.
Guys in front must have got a decent run as well, because it's still 1.2, but 3 into 1 typically accordions a bit. They don't go through as quickly. Porter's all by himself. He can pick his own braking zone, get an exit. Oh, but he missed the apex.
Yeah. Larry, on the last lap, Porter made up another 0.4 of a second on the bleeders.
Yep. Just that fastest lap of the race at a 1:19.50. And here on this next subsequent lap, he did miss that apex at that first turn. I think that hurts a little bit because it ruins your momentum all the way down into 3. But look at this, the train they've got in front of them. I believe that's one of the carries there in the 33 Rodney carry. He just steps out of the way. Thanks, Rodney. And then in front of them, I think it should be David Payton with a limping Mazda.
Yes, with the green roll bar. That is
look at
that is
look
the
at
Payton
that
machine.
You're not supposed to be able to see the radiator in an ND Miata, but you can on his.
Yeah, the car's got a little bit of an overbite now.
Just a bit. Yeah, look at this though. They're a little bit dicey behind them. This is a quick running order. Violet out in front is probably the fastest in the order. He's even going to step over, use some of that Mazda draft. If he can, he will. Porter, a decent run behind them. 5 minutes to go.
Oh, and here we go, Larry.
It's Barrios trying to make the move.
And all the while, Andrew Sharp was jockeying for position. Didn't know if he should take the inside or the outside around Payton. And we got Porter still using the draft of the Mazda behind, trying to use that to get up a little bit closer.
Might have gotten stuck a little bit through that corner side by side early with that Mazda. May have cost him a chance to catch these guys who were side by side by themselves. But still, you look at the lead. Porter now 1.1 behind Sharp, Violet, and Barrios now the new overall leader with 4 minutes to go. What do you think? 3 laps here at a minute 20 a lap?
Yeah, about minute 20 a lap, about 3 minutes remaining. Maybe a fourth lap.
Tight. Yeah, it'd be pretty tight. 4th lap, so Porter would love to see one more opportunity to draft to get close. Look at these guys pop up the curb. Use a little bit of the grass edge if you have to. A little bit of watt and just draft all the way up to 10. I don't know that Barrios has been as quick through 10 as Violet was. Little bobble, do you see that?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, he certainly wasn't quick through the corner there, but there was just absolutely nowhere for Eric Violet to go, seeing that he was sitting right on the rear bumper.
That slows the whole train. That's the benefit of Porter now behind. He should close up a little bit. Now it's Sharp's turn to pop out, and he does. He's alongside at least Violet. I don't know that he can get all the way to Barrios. He does not. That slows all of them down, and guess what? It's a 4-car train.
That's right, and Barrios goes very, very wide. I think he anticipated Sharp maybe pushing over a little bit more drivers left. I'll offer that I think that Sharp maybe moved a little bit too far to the inside and compromised his exit on the corner there. He might have had a better run out given what Barrios did, so he's going to have to still slot in the second there with Violet sitting in third, and all the while, Matt Porter is there. He is right on the back bumper of the 89 car.
And he's going to be hungry. He's watched these guys. He's watched their taillights for the last 20 minutes, and now he wants to get a piece of this action. he's going to probably take the first chance he gets to go flying down the front straight. And the run he's about to get, if he just lift a little.
Yeah, I was going to say, Larry, where he is now, about a car length, maybe 2 car lengths back. This is going to be amazing for him, especially if Barrios doesn't get the exit that he, much like on the last lap. And indeed, we can see now where Porter drafted right back up, and here when they go 2 and 3 wide, this is where Porter is going to have the advantage going into turn 1 and out of turn 2.
Well, he's not going to get him this time, but he's going to watch Barrios on the inside, Violet behind him, Sharp on the outside. Is there now 2 by 2 practically coming around 2, minute and a half to go, 2 laps. I suspect this one plus 1 is what we're going to get in a minute and a half.
All right, real quick here, let's jump back over to the battle for the lead.
Oh, no.
Ooh, and I would say the battle for the lead in Club Sport AM, and a little bit of contact there as Jenkins now takes the lead from Dale Maxwell.
Jonathan, great work there, anticipating that there'd be action here as the Club Sport AM lead now changing hands. Maxwell and Jenkins, they've been at it the whole night, and they're at it again. Now it's Jenkins over Maxwell, and it's Barrios over Sharp here on the pro ranks.
All right, and they are definitely, Larry, going to get the white flag this time by, as we have less than 45 seconds on the clock.
It's desperation time. The key is the run on 10. No one gets a good one except for Matt Porter. He gets a good one. If anybody, actually, Barrios might have gotten the best run he's gotten the whole race. Good time to nail it. He's giving, look at him, sharing the draft. A little bit to Sharp, a little bit to Violet. That's how you do it when you're in the lead.
Oh, and Violet with a late lunge, Larry, and I thought he was going to get into the back of Barrios. He doesn't, but he runs so deep that it maybe opens the door back up for Andrew Sharp. Sharp, does he pull over just the tiniest of bits to cut off Violet going into 3? He does.
Doesn't get a run through 3, though. It might be side by side if Violet wants to get a little bit dicey here through 4.
And so, Larry, I'm gonna tell you, Barrios is gonna open up the door going into 5, but nobody's close enough. Violet tries to take advantage of it, not quite close enough.
Yeah, but Violet may have got a little bit of slide through 5. He's got to watch Porter now, totally on his 6. Porter's gonna try and push Violet around.
Say either that or try to come underneath him over at 6B. Does not get that done, but it throws Violet wildly offline. This might be the opportunity for Porter to pick up a podium position here, as Violet still sitting at the center of the track, but he's going to probably be able to hold off Porter as they come through the final corners. Now, Barrios leading Andrew Sharp out of turn 10. Sharp trying to get the slingshot, and as they come to the line, Mariano Barrios is going to take the win. Andrew Sharp is going to finish second. Matt Porter gets around Eric Violet at the end. He takes third by 4/1000ths of a second, Larry.
This is not over yet, but I think it's going to end up being Jenkins over Maxwell. They've had a great fight all night long. Jenkins going to get the win in Club Sport AM.
There you go. So Maxwell finishes in second, and looking here coming out of the final corner, that is Klimovich, as Paul Carey will finish in third, and then Klimovich will come home in fourth. Mike Chase, though, taking the win, and this is, I think, something we did not expect to see here, but taking the win in Street Turner Pro, it is Mike Chase finishing second, Chris Thorman, and then we have finishing in third, Travis Schwenke. And then and then in AM, of course, it was Victor Harris.
Getting the win there.
Yep, and Steve Daniel finishing.
Yeah, unbelievable there. Mike Chase surviving what was a bit of attrition there in the Mazda ranks to get that win. Great win there for Jenkins in the Club Sport AM. But that Club Sport Pro race, all 4 of them into battles right up to the last corner. Incredible stuff. And now we get to do some inversion and do it all over again.
That's right. Invert top 5 in each. The Toyotas and the Mazdas will be inverted when we come back for more racing action here at Summit Point Raceway, where you're watching round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup, presented by the SCCA Foundation. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts, support from experts that love sim racing, trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to Summit Point Raceway and round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and we got one race in the books, Larry. One more 30-minute sprint to go. Let's take a quick look at the finishing order there from our first race. We're in the Toyotas there in the Club Sport Pro. Mariano Barrios taking the win, Andrew Sharp finishing second, and Matt Porter finishing in third. And then in in AM, God, I don't know what it is tonight with me, Larry, but I'm having so many issues here. In Club Sport AM, it's Tom Jenkins with Dale Maxwell and Paul Carey. In Street Tuner Pro, Mike Chase takes the win. Chris Thorman works his way back up to second. David Payton third, with Schwenke finishing just off the podium. And in Street Tuner AM, it's Victor Harris with the win. Steve Daniel finishing in second. And Larry, why don't we take a quick look here coming into, now we won't have the point standings incorporated for our first race, but let's just take a quick look at the different classes. I think we'll start off with Street Tuner AM. Those are the MX-5s. Probably easiest to bring them up because we only have, I think, 2 or 3 drivers that have really been contesting it all season long. There you go. So Steve Daniel coming into this evening with a 3-point advantage over Victor Harris. So that's going to change now.
Well,
after
yeah,
our
I
first
just want to
race.
note that it's not only did Victor Harris win this class tonight in the first race, he also finished second in the overall of all the Mazdas by doing that, and that's a huge amount of points because your total point collection comes from the order amongst all the Mazdas. So big opportunity there for Harris. We'll see if Steve Daniel responds here in race number 2.
All right, so let's take a look at Street Tuner Pro, where coming into the evening, Robert Hartley was your points leader, is your points leader. Most of the Orion folks, Hartley and Dam, not here. Of course, Travis Schwenke holding up the flag there for Orion. What, about 11 points back for Chris Thorman, however. And so he's going to still pick up a couple points there on Schwenke, as will David Payton. And the difference between Payton and Schwenke coming into the evening was 5 points. So Payton may be able to close that gap down as well. If we go over to Club Sport, which is the Mazda, probably the Toyotas, sitting up at the top of the order coming into the evening with a 7-point advantage. Well, we'll take a look at the pros. Is Eric Violette, as we saw there, with an 11-point advantage over Andrew Sharp, with Mariano Barrios 6 points back from there. And then Matt Porter. So things might be shaken up just a little bit after our first race of the evening. And then in Club Sport AM, your current points leader, or your points leader coming into the evening with a 7-point advantage over Tom Jenkins, is David Klimovich. And then another 9 points back to Rodney Carey with Dale Maxwell. Only a single point back from there, so still real close running here in Club Sport AM in the Toyotas.
Yeah, well, we're going to do a little bit of inverting here for our second race. So we talked about invert the top 5 in each category. So as you can see right now, we're going to do a little bit of that manually, a little bit of the line dance going on. And we'll take the top 5 of the Toyotas, which were, I have this right, so we had your pole sitter should be Leo Dragota, then Eric Violet on the outside, Matt Porter, Andrew Sharp in the second row, Mariano Barrios with Jeff Jacobs on the third row. The Mazdas, your pole sitter should be David Payton alongside Steve Daniel. Chris Thorman will be alongside Victor Harris. Mike Chase, your winner in pro of the first race, he will be on row 3 alongside, hey, guess what? The same guy he started alongside in race 1, Travis Schwenke, who struggled in race 1. Those two will now occupy row 3. So a little bit of inversion from the results of the first race, but with smaller fields, it's still going to make some incredibly exciting racing.
All right, so race control is still getting everything worked out with our racers. And it was interesting there, Larry, is the racers we're looking at, well, in order for me to get around the car in front, I'm going to have to go into the grass and take a 1X. So please move forward a little bit. And looks like we've almost got things ready to go. And I think there we go. Command's now been given to Leo Dragota to get things underway, and we'll start our pace lap. The Mazdas, they'll sit a little bit further back, and we'll eventually get things underway.
Yep, so getting that quick recap there, Leo Dragota, Eric Violet on the front row, Matt Porter, Andrew Sharp in the second row, Mariano Barrios, Jeff Jacobs in the third row, Tom Jenkins, Dale Maxwell, those rivals will take up the fourth row, Paul Carey, David Klimovich, Rodney Carey, Tom Rathke should round out the Toyotas. And then, of course, it's David Payton, Steve Daniel. You can see that there. On the front row, Chris Thorman, Payton's teammate right behind him. Victor Harris, the AM class winner in the first race. He'll be outside of row 2. Mike Chase and Travis Schwenke on row 3.
Yeah, and Larry, it's appearing as though Tom Rathke ain't going to make it. Has not checked back into the session after his off during race number 1. And we'll see, but I think the number 4 Granite State Racing machine is out for our second race.
That's unfortunate because he had shown some pretty good pace there, just got caught up in a little bit of a slide and some side contact that ended up putting him up into the wall. He was very racy up to that point. In fact, the car that he was alongside with is going to start the second race right there. Leo Dragota is the one that actually went side-to-side contact with Rathke. So Rathke Tom's got the pace. I was hoping to maybe see him maybe start from the pits or something, but if he's checked out of the session, that's too bad. We'll have to wait and see him next time out.
All
Big
right,
crowd watching. I'm just watching the chat here tonight on the YouTube. Lots of people watching it. Of course, the Klim Club, as always, joining things here in the Ricmotech Monday nights. I got a few others in there as well. I got Wan Shi Lin, who runs Spec Fords and iRacing all the time. I run against him a bunch. Cool to see people like that out here watching our Ricmotech series on Monday nights.
Yeah, they're certainly not here for me, Larry. So let's let's watch the field here. As the pace car has been on the pit lane for about 3.5 minutes, turning the field over to our pole sitter tonight, Leo Dragota, Eric Violet on the outside of the front row, waiting for our starter to give the command, and green flag is in the air for our Toyotas. For the Club Sport racers, they now make the run down into turn 1. And Violet got a little bit more of a jump there, Larry. It might have been on the throttle. He was actually about a half a car length up when the green flag was given. We'll see what he does from the outside. And the Mazdas are also just now given the green flag.
You got the teammates on the inside. You got Porter right behind Dragota. And I thought maybe Porter even gave a little bit of bump draft to Leo going to the front straight to help him counter the good start that Violet had on the outside. Violet, though, you can see got the advantage going into 3. He'll take the pole or take the point position going in there. But look at this. You got Payton leading the way. His teammate behind him, Chris Thorman, side by side with Steve Daniel. Let's see how much patience still exists at the back three, because you got your race 1 pole sitter, your race 1 pro winner, your race 1 am winner, currently the last 3 in this train.
Right. Yeah, and well, we know that Travis Schwenke was getting out some of his aggression during the commercial break. We'll see.
That
See
poor
what he
pit
decides
wall.
to do. Yeah, he was virtually banging his head against the wall. All right, here. And Steve Daniel now side by side there with Mike Chase as they go into turn number 6. And Steve Daniel doing a pretty good job of defending here so far, so early. Travis Schwenke making up 1 position already.
Just as you say it, Daniel's off.
Well, that won't be an issue any longer. So, and Travis Schwenke had just gotten around Victor Harris just as that happened. As we jump back over to our Club Sport racers, they've completed lap number 1, going into turn 1 for the 2nd time here, and it's Violet who jumps to the lead. He started on the outside of the front row. That's going to move Dragota now back into 2nd with Matt Porter in 3rd. And running in 4th there, Mariano Barrios. And this might be the one to watch here, Larry, is we know that Barrios has a tendency to be very cautious. And, you know, he is sitting still back behind Sharp, and whether or not he decides to make a move a little bit earlier this time by.
It may have a lot to do with what happens out in front, because it looked like Dragota had a little bit of trouble there through 3. Yeah. Now he slips in behind Porter, but that exchange caused them to lose sight of Violet a little bit, who's now a second and a half out in front of the Mariano Barrios and Andrew Sharp, maybe thinking, well, we can't wait for these guys. It's going to be really hard. Violet, who's always one of the quick ones out here, gets away. He's tough to catch. It takes 2 usually to chase him down, just like Sharp and Mariano Barrios did in the first race. It's going to take 2. Right now, it's 4. You got Sharp, you got Barrios, but you also have Porter, and you've got Dragota. All 4 of them now trying to chase down Eric Violet. Back here in the AM categories, though, Maxwell leads the train of Jenkins, Paul Carey, and David Klimovich, Rodney Carey, all right in a row.
Well, we can already see they're right just ahead. And there's contact.
That's Jenkins going around your race 1 winner, around Klimovich, sitting there watching, trying to find clean air to go. That's one of the carries. That's 33 Rodney Carey that was sideways. Wow, that's a lot of action right there.
Yeah, and well, we saw there when Klimovich just had absolutely nowhere to go. He does move up the 3rd, but that allows both Dale Maxwell and Paul Carey to
gets this
run
replay.
away.
So watch from behind. I think it's going to be Rodney Carey, if I got this right, behind Jenkins. Rodney Carey comes from way back, just got late on the brakes. He gets in the back of Jenkins. Klimovich just nowhere to go. He had nothing to do with the cause of the incident, but certainly the effects seemed to hit him pretty hard. He'll continue on, but we'll see if the stewards take a look at this, as Rodney Carey came from pretty far back to get into the back there.
All right, and now we're there with Klimovich and Jenkins as they were fighting it out. But Larry, just as we were watching that, just ahead of it, we saw that both Barrios and Sharp, I think they had enough of Dragota and Porter, and notice now that also Jeff Jacobs has moved ahead of the 2 Orion teammates as well.
We might want to take a look at a replay there, because yes, we had Dragota sitting in up there into 2nd. You had Porter in 3rd, and now all of a sudden they're sitting in 5th and 6th. Yeah. Something happened there that allowed all 3, Barrios, Sharp, and Jacobs, to get on by.
Yeah, well, I had seen where Sharp had made a late lunge down the inside. Let's take a look. Here's the replay.
Oh,
now watch Sharp move to the inside.
But look at Barrios way back. Oh, you see there, it looks like Porter got a little bit of the inside of the curve. He popped up. Dragota just happened to have nowhere to go.
Just lost the rear. Well, yeah, exactly. Porter lost the rear end.
Yeah, but when his teammate came across the front of him, he had nowhere else to go. Yeah. So that definitely was the cause there. It looks like now they've gotten around Jeff Jacobs, as we're going to flash over to the Mazdas and see what have we got here. This looks like Mike Chase just around Chris Thorman. Schwenke trying to do the same and follow Chase through turn 5.
And Schwenke's going to come right underneath.
Thorman's going to go wide.
That's right, Thorman. He drops the wheel off into the dirt there, but good move by Schwenke coming down the inside as Thorman left the door open to him. Victor Harris will get by the 60 machine as well. And we see there, I think that was Rodney Carey very much off pace coming through the carousel, trying to lift his car back to the pits.
Yeah, he's trying to let this train go on by, in which he does. But yes, look at Mike Chase. Good work through traffic there for Mike Chase to catch up to David Payton. So now Chase starts this race in 5th. He's now worked his way up to 2nd, just a couple laps in. He's got a shot at an overtake here in the front straight. Defensive goes Payton. Schwenke gets a draft from Chase. He's side by side for 2 of them. Chase on the outside, Payton on the inside. Schwenke nowhere to go. He's just going to decide which horse do I latch onto. He's going to go with Chase right now. Yeah. Because he can get the draft and maybe of the inside. It's going to be side by side. No, it looks like Schwenke backs out. Chase struggles through there, though.
He does, but we also see there Payton also having some issues through the corner there for a moment there. Oh, and there might have been a little bit of contact between Chase and Schwenke coming into turn 5.
They're getting it sorted out. But boy, there was definitely just a touch of contact at the highest speed corner of the course. That's a dangerous spot to have side-by-side contact. I can't believe he held on to that. Schwenke, though, able to get past Chase. Now he's got a chance to chase down, no pun intended, David Payton in front of him.
Thank
Chase
God
is going to have to
stop saying Chase.
We'll leave the chase for Chase and let Payton do his defending.
That's right.
All right, this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd and 4th and the rest of them.
And so Barrios now sitting back in 4th, Larry. I don't know if you saw the chrome horn that was laid onto the back of Matt Porter coming through turn 2. But Barrios, I don't think wants to be behind the 19 car much longer.
Porter mentioned in the pre-race that he didn't get a ton of practice in this week, and I'm starting to wonder if this is where it's showing. His consistency through that opening corner has been showing to be lacking a little bit. He's popped the curb a couple times, he's slid out a couple times, and I think once it caused his teammates to have to check up and they move a shuffle back. Now he's picked up the pace again, and you saw it right there again. He popped the curb, and that's when the chrome horn got used by Mariano because he didn't know where to go. So Porter's got raw pace. It's that consistency the practice often brings. Just might be missing tonight.
Yeah, and given how well and how quick he was running in the first race, Larry, when he did not have cars directly ahead of him, he seems with a little bit more pressure there to have a few more challenges. But all the while, Eric Violet is started to walk away from the rest of the field as the gap now we see as Violet goes under braking in the 1, almost 3 full seconds.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on this as well as, wow, look at the back. Dragotta, the last of the late breakers, then dives to the insides under Jacobs. Makes it stick. I don't know how. He looked like he was about to send Jeff Jacobs all the way to the Jefferson Circuit.
Yeah, I was going to say, or to my friend Martin Burke's front yard. Yeah, exactly. A friend of mine lives right on the other side of the trees over there.
Calling for drinks. He was already there.
That's right. Well, you better watch out. Martin has a shotgun.
Doesn't everyone in West Virginia?
Yes. And Jacobs going in out braking with Dragotta going down in the 5. I'll tell you. So
it's Jacobs has good for me.
So Jacobs has a bit of time trials experience here at Summit Point in real life as well, and I think he's maybe from some of the moves that I'm seeing him make, especially going into turn 5. I think he's using that to his advantage. And
if I got this right, I know his autocross car is a first-gen twin.
Yes.
You know, the early gen of what these are. So if that's what he's been time trialing, then that's perfect experience to be running around here in one of these club spec Toyotas. Uh-oh. That is Chris Thorman with a little bit of rub on that left front. Sure there, but that does not look healthy.
Now let's see what happened to the 60 machine. He's following
5.
his teammate Thorman.
Well, that's where he had the issue. Remember in the opening round, spun by himself, and now he and teammate come together. It's D2D on D2D violence. Bobby's just got to be kicking himself back there watching this. That's Bobby, right. What are you doing? Your guys are killing each other.
D2D, door to door. They're going into turn 6.
Yes, they are. All right, well, this battle, this is Klimovich and Jenkins. Klimovich right on the heels. This is a battle for 3rd, I believe. It's still Maxwell and Paul Carey, yeah. So Jenkins and Klimovich battling for the podium spot.
Oh, and you've woken up the Klim Club, Larry. As soon as you mentioned his name, here they come in the chat. But Klimovich having some issues there, coming out of turn 3, ends up all the way drivers left, and at least for the moment here, Tom Jenkins now with almost a 1.5 seconds advantage over that green number 21 machine.
And this battle continues. Meanwhile, we haven't talked about it. Eric Violette continues to lead this race. Remember that moment where he took the lead just over Dragotta, and then Dragotta had his teammate Porter. Dragotta struggled through turn 3, a little bit of a wiggle, brought Porter alongside just enough for Violet to break the draft. And then all this other stuff behind is just opened up this 3.5 second lead now for Violet to name whoever you think is in second place at the time. Right now, it's Mariano Barrios.
And on this lap, it's Mariano Barrios.
It's Barrios right now, Porter in 3rd, Sharp 4th, Leo Dragotta 5th, just a little bit back from this.
Yeah, and so as we saw Sharp drop from 2nd back into 4th, I think he ran into the same issue that we saw Barrios have the lap before, and that is that Matt Porter just does not get good runs out of turns 1 and 2. And we'll you know, it's not bad enough that he loses track of the car ahead, but you can see already about a car length now that the number 19 is given up to Barrios.
He's quick through this. Yeah, he's very quick here through this S's section. He seems to be very good at this rhythm and carrying the speed and keeping that momentum. And you watch him. Look how quickly he pulls up there already behind Barrios. Just a little extra car length now to Sharp behind. So he's good there. He needs to probably work on the braking point and the depth of his braking into 1. And then, as you say, a little bit down.
And this is where he's great. We saw this in the last race. He's great here coming out of turn 10. And that's the weakness for Barrios is the final corner. So they're able to draft right back up to it.
And they are. There he is. That's Porter smiling at you. Bit of the old kiss cam there between the two Toyotas. But a little slide again. This time it's Barrios. Did he catch on the curb?
I don't know if he did, but there was certainly a little bit of a wiggle there in the rear end of the car that pulls him back to Porter and to Sharp. And now Larry, in just the last lap, remember we saw them go 2 wide a lap ago into turn 1. What was a 3.5 second advantage for Eric Violette is now a 4 second advantage for Eric Violette.
Yeah, it doesn't take too much to open that back up. All right, so back over to our leaders in the Mazdas. It's Schwenke and it's Chase. Right now, 1-2, Schwenke by just a couple tenths there. They pulled away from the rest as we had seen the D2D on D2D Violence. That's moved them back. Schwenke and Chasey, it's mano a mano now for the ST Pro.
Yeah, and currently running 3rd in the Toyotas is our AM leader. That is Victor Harris. He's in the yellow number 52 machine just coming into turn 5.
Behind him, he's got the 60 of Chris Thorman. Which again, they're not competing against each other on overall points, but for each race, the higher you finish within the Mazdas, for example, you will get more points, even if you're stealing points away from a pro class driver. That is important for Victor Harris if he's able to maintain that position, just like he did in that first race. Held on to that 2nd overall, 1st in class, give him a lot of points, and he's going to try and do the same thing here. There's Porter again, struggling to stick with Barrios, coming out of 2. You watch as they come out of the S's, out of that 6, 7, 8. They'll suddenly move up just a little bit. Around 5. Seems to be good in 5 under the braking. The exit is able to trail brake that just right to get the car to move.
It's just, he's very strong here when he enters the carousel section. This is where we'll see him make up a little bit of ground, especially right here at turn 7 where the track comes back to the left and then they run up the hill. He always seems to get a good run up this hill. And of course the draft here helps, I think, quite a bit as well. But he always gets a good run out of the final corner out of turn 10. And again, we can see there Barrios does a lot of trail braking. Larry, into turn 10, he stays on the brake pedal so much longer than the other 2, and it really hurts his exit speed.
Yeah, well, if Porter can get on the brakes as well as Barrios does, he can take the lead right here. He's going to get the draft. He's going to get the run. How good is he on the brakes? Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that. Uses that outside line, gets the nose ahead. That was beautiful for Porter.
Yeah, indeed, and he is able to make clearance and tracks back over drivers right to set up for turn number 3. Good move there. the part of the track where he's had issues. That time, I think, and he and Barrios got onto the brake pedal at almost identical points, Larry, and just had that extra room to the outside to carry the speed. Let's see here.
Barrios just all over the back of Porter right now. Just kind of wants to put his Toyota in the trunk of Matt Porter's. Look at this. Even the camera can't keep up. Look how close they are. Barrios this looks like his last lap, folks. There's 15 minutes to go. We got a ways, but Barrios is feeling racy right now. This is good. This is the battle for second again, because Eric Violet is right now just putting down qualifiers by the way out in front, running consistent high 19s, while this pack is running in the 20s. All right, who's going to pop first? Is it Sharp? Nope, it's Barrios. Which horse does Sharp follow? He's going to stick behind Porter. Nope. He's going to go in behind Barrios. Who outbreaks who? Oh, no one has contact.
They break each other, Larry.
But they all recover, it looks like.
That was,
Wow.
That was a pretty massive hit.
Yeah.
And Matt Porter somehow, both Porter
Look at this. Yeah,
and
catch the replay
Barrios
here.
seem to hold on.
Watch the contact. Is Barrios on the inside? Does he catch curb? Does he catch curb? Watch on that right side for the inside line of Barrios.
No.
No, it looks like it's a little bit too tight of a line on the outside for Porter. He cuts in and actually sideswipes Barrios.
Yeah. And somehow Sharp didn't get caught up in it, which I thought he would. But
yeah, heads up play for sure for Sharp. Well, let's see now. Good. Here's this execution here for Porter coming out of 7, getting that run down this little short chute to 10.
And so we'll see here as we anticipate that Barrios is going to lose a little bit of ground here coming through 10. Let's see what Andrew Sharp decides to do. I'm guessing that Sharp's going to probably poke to the inside. Sharp's a little bit too far back, I think. But if you notice here, Larry, Dragotta and Jacobs, they're coming as the folks ahead are starting to jockey around here.
Yeah, Leo's getting a little bit of runs there. Jacobs is letting him just get in his own rhythm. There's Leo Dragotta sitting in 5th, 4th in this train. Just about a second and a half back. We saw this in the first race with that front 3, which at the time was Barrios and Violet and Sharp, and it was Porter who chased him down. Now it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th battle of Porter, Barrios, and Sharp, and it's Leo Dragotta, Porter's teammate, doing the chasing, and Jeff Jacobs right along there with him saying, hey, I'd like a chance of this.
So let's see if Jacobs pokes down to the inside this time. No, he doesn't. A little bit too far back that time. And Dragotta didn't get a good run out of turn 3. Picked a lot of curbing at the apex there that kind of unsettled the car. And Jacobs just wasn't quite close enough to do anything about it at the time.
Yeah, I don't know if Jacobs wants to push the issue here. I think he may be okay just kind of hitching his wagon here to this Dragotta horse in front of him, knowing that might be his best chance to pull up to that earlier 3. That's a lot of slowdown there for Jacobs. I wonder if he could be a little more aggressive on that turn in, kind of a pitch and catch to carry the speed around 10. Bright orange with blue accent of the Florida Gator colors. Look at him. Oh, it's a wide line again for Dragotta. We saw that earlier. He just can't quite get the speed off and keep the car balanced through that turn 1.
Yeah, he turns in a little early there, and I think carries a little bit too much speed to the apex there. That pushes him very wide. So let's see here if Jake. Yeah. Oh, yeah, big change here.
Yeah, and now Porter on the outside of Sharp going down into 5.
And Sharp had to take a whole bunch of curbing at the apex, Larry, at 4. And that is the tallest curb on the track. I've seen cars flip over there from hitting that curbing, and Sharp able to hold on to it. But that does allow Barrios to maybe extend that gap just a little bit.
Well, we know Barrios can exit turn 10 very well, but doesn't always. Let's see if the roles get reversed here. Can he get a good run? Can Porter get the run? We know Porter's pretty fast through this. He does miss the apex, though, as we're on board here with Sharp. We got a good view of Porter just missing that apex by a bit. That may be Porter's demise, as Sharp may be making the move to go on past.
Yeah, but did he do it too early, Larry? Because I
Hey,
don't
Barrios, though, Barrios moved track right to give draft
Yes.
too sharp. I do that stuff all the time. It is such a gamey move to give the two behind you varying degrees of draft just to keep them fighting, but you do what you have to.
Well, there you go. As Sharp now gets around Porter. But Dragotta and Jacobs, that last time, Larry, were Dragotta was almost 1.2 seconds faster than the cars ahead.
And with the way they continue to struggle with the two of them, with different lines, like Porter missing the apex at 10, maybe getting a little bit wide, that's helping Dragotta catch up to them. The question is Barrios now safe? He's a 1 second lead over Sharp and Porter. Barrios needs to be clean here to pull this out. 9 minutes to go in this. So we've probably got about 6-7 laps. Not over yet. We'll get back to them in a minute. We're going to flash over here to our battles and our Mazdas. Yeah. It's Sharp and it's Schwenke. Sorry, Chase.
Chase, yeah, I was like Travis Schwenke might chase in the green. Well, they're both green and white to some extent, but the green and white number 314
in the Mazda with the red mirrors.
Yes. Stop it. Green roll cage versus black roll cage. Is that better?
Sure. And we're catching up to one of the carries who, if form holds true, will likely yield and let these guys on by as soon as he clears turn 10. Normally, these guys do that. He will just kind of work the draft all the way down the straightaway, and that's Jenkins coming up behind.
There he goes, and he pulls over and gets into the brakes as well.
I think, though, that is Paul Carey, who's in a position battle with Jenkins, who just went by. I don't know if Paul realized that. Or maybe Paul might be giving the spot up from the earlier incident where he got into the back, and maybe that may be what's going on here. He may be giving that spot back and taking a look at incidents that have been decided. Nothing, there's been no penalties issued yet in this race. But a couple things looked at, but no penalties yet. Schwenke here after that one little incident that kind of cost him that first race. Mike Chase was able to take advantage of it and take the win. Schwenke now needs the revenge here in ST Pro. They come into tonight in the point standings. It's Schwenke's absent teammate, Rob Hartley, with the overall points lead coming into tonight by just about 9 points, or I guess 11 points over Chris Thorman. Schwenke comes into tonight in third, about 5 points back from him. Yeah, so Schwenke now needs a good finish here. Thorman is about a couple spots back. So Schwenke needs all that he can, and Chase is going to give him some pressure here.
Yeah, and you know, and this is just, I think, you know, a great showing for Mike Chase, who's sitting 8th in the points right now, over 100, almost 130 points out of the championship.
Well, part of that is he's had a couple races didn't make it to. He did show up for Zandvoort, got a podium on that one, got the win in the combined total results of Okayama. The 6th place at Phillip Island, that's his only other result. So he's got pace, just probably at the end going to get enough points to compete for the overall championship. But week to week, he's almost playing spoiler. Well, this 2-3-4 train continues. They've now stabilized. Leo Dragotta has dropped a little bit away from them as these three now are running right about high 19s. In fact, Matt Porter just ran a 19.5 to Leo Dragotta's 20.2. Five and a half minutes. Eric Violet continues to lead this thing.
Yeah, we'll give him a little airtime tonight.
Well, he's just trying.
Smooth race.
He's trying to avoid any D2D on D2D violence here in the
the further he can stay away from Peyton and
let's
Thorman, the better.
Leave that to the ST ranks. He's happy to not have to deal with that. In fact, he had a lot of fighting in that first race. I'm sure he's a little frustrated from how that race ended, having come home only in the 4th spot. Looking to try to get a win here for the overall points leader here in the second half of tonight's race. These two with 5 minutes to go continue to battle. Absolutely no margin here between either one of them. It's just super tight, Schwenke and Chase.
Schwenke with a little bit faster exit speed. They're coming out of 10, moves the car all the way over driver's right to defend. I think he's a little worried now that Chase is close enough, and Chase pulls almost right alongside him under braking, but good job there by Schwenke. Yeah, good defense.
I think Schwenke might have broke a little too late, kind of slid, and Chase did a great job of avoiding him. But Schwenke there defending pretty well to hold this spot. Again, 4 minutes to go in this thing, maybe 3 laps. Schwenke continuing to look defensive now on Mike Chase.
You can tell they're both pushing that brake zone as deep as they can, Larry. I don't think either Schwenke or Chase could have got on the brakes maybe even a 100th of a second later and been able to slow the car down without getting into the ABS there. So Schwenke, when he gets to run out of 8, and this is the neat thing in watching with these Miatas, is that there is a bit of a draft effect as they come up the hill into turn 10, as we've watched Chase make up maybe a quarter to a half a car length before they ever get into the braking zone for 10. So let's see if Schwenke moves all the way to driver's right once again. He's going to stay a little bit more center of track, which if anything makes things more difficult for Chase. Chase moves out at the last moment and brakes again, only getting up to the quarter panel.
But he's there. Oh, he's actually got a little bit of momentum. This is going to be side by side down to 3. I don't know that either the driver's going to want to give. Oh, Chase does duck in behind. That could have been. If that were last lap, I'm not sure he would have given that up.
No, matter of fact, I would have even thought of just keeping the car in there as well and force Schwenke to run wide through 3. So now Chase takes a look to the inside going into 5, not quite close enough.
Yeah, I think if you're Chase, you're pressuring, but not yet ready to take risks. I think maybe the next time by, gonna be close to getting white flag. I don't know where our leaders are right now.
So we're at 28 and a half.
Probably leaders are a lap and a half away from getting white flag.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've probably got the next time Violet comes by, he should get the white flag.
Yep. So that means this Mazda battle will also get an extra lap. But look at this now as Sharp, Barrios, and Porter 2, 3, and 4, and they're going to have their own little side-by-side dance. Who gives here? Sharp a little bit lifting just to let Barrios through, just like we saw between Chase and Schwenke in the Mazdas. And then behind him, look at that. Jeff Jacobs just passed Leo Jagoda as well. Everyone's setting up here as we're down to the last, call it 1.2 laps. Look at this. A little slide there for Barrios.
Yeah, that gets the rear end very, very uncomfortable there coming through 5.
This is not a replay. As again, Chase kind of filling mirrors but didn't make the pass. It is still the next step. So they will see white flag this next time by. And if that happens again, I suspect Chase will leave his toe in that water.
And again, Chase takes a look down the inside. All right, white flag is in the air. Last lap here for our Club Sport Pro leader, Eric Violet. And there's that battle for second right behind. And it is Barrios for the moment with now Matt Porter taking a look to the inside on Sharp.
Here comes Porter. He's going to be, who's going to break the latest? Porter, beautiful carving under braking. Barrios, a great job as well to defend position. Porter gets Sharp, but it's not over yet.
And it was pretty darn close as Barrios came across that he almost hadn't cleared the nose of Matt Porter. Manages to do so as they come through 3 now, as all 3 drivers drop wheels off into the gravel trap Let's see if one of them takes a look to the inside going in the 5.
So close. You can't put anything between them. Is there going to be contact here? Oh, and near contact. And all three. The accordion is huge.
Yeah, and we see Matt Porter. He thought about going to the inside. Sharp went to the inside, and Porter went to cover just by about a foot. And somehow, Barrios managed to not get involved with that as he opens up some ground now. Our leader, Eric Violet, coming into the final corner.
This is Porter's strength, though. Violet's going to win this thing. He's out in front. Porter, this is the strength. Down this back straight. We know the last corner has been his all night long. There's Violet. He's going to get the win. No offense, Eric.
I don't think Porter's close enough, though, Larry. And he's
not. He may not be. Barrios is going to get that second position. Porter third, Sharp fourth.
All right, let's jump back over to the Mazdas now, Larry, as they're coming up out of turn 8 and under the bridge for the last time. And it is still Travis Schwenke managing to hold off Mike Chase. Chase with a lunge going into turn 10. Again, not carrying speed out of the final corner. Schwenke's going to try to break the draft as they come across the line, taking the win in Street Tuner Pro. Travis Schwenke, Mike Chase finishing second.
Oh, great race, though, between them. I can't believe all Chases couldn't quite get a nose around them. Great racing for them. Chase had a great night. Gets a win in round 1, a second in round 2. Beautiful stuff. And, of course, Victor Harris is going to take the win there in the ST AM category for the second time tonight. So a couple wins back-to-back there. He is in that yellow number 52. 2 wins for him.
All right, and Maxwell takes the win in Club Sport AM with Jenkins finishing in second. And which of the carries? Paul Carey finishes in third. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here tonight at Summit Point Motorsports Park, Summit Point Raceway. You are watching and have watched round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Summit Point Raceway and round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Touring Car Cup. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Larry Lefty McLeod here on Apex Racing TV. And Larry, let's see if we can throw up the finishing order from our final race of the evening, our second 30-minute sprint. I know I probably just threw John for a loop. There we go. There in Club Sport Pro, Eric Violette winning race number 2 with Mariano Barrios second, Matt Porter third. In Club Sport Am, taking the win here was Dale Maxwell with Tom Jenkins second, Paul Carey finishing in third. And then over to the Street Tuners, to the Mazdas, Travis Schwenke taking the win over Mike Chase with Chris Thorman finishing in third. And then finally in Street Tuner Am, Victor Harris taking the win for the second time tonight over Steve Daniel. All right, so we've got some folks here sitting in the green room, Larry. Why don't we bring in Victor Harris? And I don't remember if we've had a chance to talk to him. Actually, I think we have talked to him a couple times this season. But Victor Harris, driver of the Rochelle's Racing Mazda Miata, taking the win here in both races tonight from Summit Point.
All right, Victor Harris joining us here. And Victor got a win in the second race, got a win in the first race. In fact, Victor, that first race, you got the second overall in the Mazdas. Great night. Max points here for you tonight. How you feeling about your performance here at Summit Point?
I'm feeling really good. I knew what I needed to do to keep the season alive.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. You came into tonight in that battle with a few of the drivers there, but you come in able to get a second overall in the class, and you were right there on the tail with Mike Chase that entire race. Were you even thinking maybe try to win the overall in that first round?
I was not. Mike had way more pace than me. I knew he was kind of just taking it easy. I was just trying to stay on his draft.
Yeah, well, it worked out as a great strategy. Not a huge field tonight, but a very important field to be able to collect a couple of points. And for you, getting the win in both of these rounds now should put you in the lead here in the AM points whenever they do get refreshed here shortly. And that's got to be a good feeling. Are you watching those points? Is that something you pay attention to and really strive to stay ahead of those rivals?
I am watching the points. Yeah, I knew that I really needed to win tonight in order to stay in competition. So yeah, I'm happy to have been able to capitalize.
Well, you definitely responded to that pressure you put on yourself to be able to get those max points, the double wins here in the ST Pro. But I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank and give a shout out to for your performance.
My mom, my dad, my family. Yeah, it's all thanks to them.
Awesome stuff. Yep, great to have a good team, a family behind you, and watching. Hopefully they enjoyed this one here for you. But tonight, getting the win in both rounds in the AM category, Victor Harris. Congrats.
Thanks.
All right, Larry, let's since Victor mentioned, why don't we bring in Dale Maxwell, driver of the Black Flag E Motorsports. What is that? That's right. He actually drives a Mazda MX-5. Let's bring him on in.
All right, so Dale Maxwell joining us. And Dale, a couple of wins here tonight in the AM category in the club sports. Really tough competition here tonight. You had a great battle going on, I think, in that first round with Jenkins. How you feeling about your results?
Wow. I could barely keep it on the track, honestly. Tom's such a great driver. It was a good race in him.
Yeah, you guys had a couple of back and forth, especially in that first race. I think he clipped you right there towards the end, but you guys had a bunch of contact even. It seemed like a little bit of rubbing racing going on, elbows out and all. Is that all? You guys talked that over and kind of worked that out?
I apologize. I don't know if his mic's working or not, or if he muted me or whatever. But I had a lot of understeer on the first time in turn one, and it basically velcroed together.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were gonna stick together through the whole race or what.
Yeah. But then you guys came back together and still had another battle later on. And, had a good result there. And then the second race, all sorts of chaos seemed to be going on. And you find yourself kind of leaving the field behind. It's that were you kind of watching that gap and wondering where everybody kind of went?
I was trying not to pay attention to who was in my rearview mirror after I passed Tom. After he hit the sand trap, I found an opportunity to get around him. And then on the next lap of turn one, I heard a crash and everybody was gone.
Yeah, well, that's a good place to be, is out in front of those crashes. And for you tonight, gets you a second in the first race, a win in the second race. And those are great results. Points will be updated, I'm sure, soon enough. But anybody you want to give a thanks to helping you get here and getting you this win tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Gaha, my wife, mother-in-law, they're all watching. Got a few friends that are watching want to say thanks for supporting me and being out there, and for you guys also just putting out a really good broadcast. That's always spot on with you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate the nice comments, but you did an awesome job tonight getting that win in a great race in the first round of tonight. So for Dale Maxwell, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Dale Maxwell. Let's move over now. Larry took the win in race number 1, finished second in race number 2 in in Street Tuner Pro. That is Mike Chase, driver the number 314, Chase Motorsports Mazda.
All right, Mike Chase joining us here. And Mike, that first race was a bit chaotic as everybody just sort of had a wreck fest going on there, and you managed to get that way. But that second race, let's talk about this race with Schwenke. I can see in the chat you and Travis already having a few beers after the race, it seems. Tell me a little bit about the battle with Travis right up there till the end.
Yeah, I thought maybe I could try something on the outside of turn 1 and kind of have an advantage into the turn 3 or 2, whatever it is, to the left, and usually works, but he just stuck the car and got out of there quicker than most. So he just had the really great pace. I didn't have a safe move really ever. So I was hoping for a mistake, but he had his share of misfortune earlier on. So I'm glad that didn't happen, to be honest.
Yeah, he seemed to be extra motivated that second race after some of the issues in the first race. But I saw a couple times in that second race as we got down to about the last 5-10 minutes, you'd get a reasonable run coming out of 2 towards 3, and you seemed like you were saying, okay, I'll take this to the next lap, but maybe wait for, like you said, waiting for Travis to make that mistake. It just wasn't there. Maybe one more lap is all it would have taken for Travis to kind of slip and give you an opportunity, but man, it just looked like you were just trying and just couldn't quite get that move.
Yeah, I had a lot more understeer through there. I had problems with that in the first race, and just really didn't want to mess things up for anybody else. And then on the exit on the back straight before the final corner, I couldn't seem to get a good run out of there either. So it was just a good drive by Travis' part. But yeah, the pace was great. It was really fun trying to catch up and make a move.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. The battle between the two of you tonight was definitely one of our highlights. And for you also to get the win in that first round, just kind of going away there. And even we talked a minute ago to Victor Harris, the M winner, who was sort of doing all he could to stay in your draft. He said there was no chance he had on you. You just had great pace there as well. So all in all for you, kind of a great points night. You get a win, you get a second place, and good walk away with a good evening here for the team. But I'm sure you got some teammates there you want to give a thanks to for helping you get tonight's victories.
Yeah, no teammates tonight, but good solo points effort, that's for sure. So thanks for the broadcast and the rest of the drivers. It was a good night.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Mike Chase, on a win and a second here tonight.
Thanks.
All right, Larry, that leaves us with one more person to talk to tonight, and that is Mariano Barrios. Took the win in race number 1 in Club Sport Pro. Let's bring in the driver from Friendly Neighborhood Racing.
All right, Mariano Barrios joining us. And Mariano, you were right in the thick of two of the best races we've had in a while here. In both rounds, you end up getting the win in the first round, holding off the pack. You end up leading the pack down and getting the second in the second race. Tell me a little bit about if you've caught your breath or what you think of that race you just finished.
I'm still catching my breath after the first one. By the way, Eric and I were talking. If you guys want to bring them in, save some time, you can knock 2 of them out. But going back to that first race.
Yeah, we can do that.
Stop.
Yeah, we don't need to hear from him tonight. Let's talk to you tonight.
Okay. It was nonstop, and I was just hoping I can be in the front of the pack at the right time, and it was just a really good race. I mean, shout out to Eric, Andrew, and Matt at the end for just racing really clean the whole time.
Yeah, watching you guys, and when you go back and watch this, we'll see, some of those guys, Porter had great runs, and Eric Violet, they both have just amazingly controlled runs off of turn 10, and sometimes they would have a better run than you going down into 1. but your ability to get on those brake slates and control that car through one seemed to be one of the advantages you had. It was amazing to watch those strengths play a part in the positioning at both ends of that straightaway. Is that something you're waiting for as the race develops, of where your strengths are relative to those rivals?
Yeah, I mean, I was really just at some point trying to minimize mistakes, because that was one of the reasons why we kept flip-flopping, was especially I think it's turn 4, that left-hander with the gravel on the outside. It seemed like at some point one of us went out and lost a lot of time there, but at some point it just became trying to stay consistent, and I knew turn 1 in particular, being on the outside has its strengths because you're on the inside for turn 3 as long as you get a good run. But I started to find the rhythm of slowing down, getting into first gear without losing the rear, stepping on it, and just trying to get on power as early as I could and getting a good run into turn 3.
Yeah, and just watching that happen throughout the race is just to fix the little mistake, control that line, set up the next corner. Beautiful stuff to watch between you, Matt Porter, Andrew Sharp, Eric Violet. You guys had just some amazing racing tonight. It was so much fun to watch. And for you to come out, get a second place, the second race, but that win in that opening race, just amazing stuff to watch. Congratulations for that. You got anybody you want to give a shout out to here for helping you get here tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I always, I got to give a shout out to my wife. She's always supportive. Watching the races, taking care of the baby while I'm out racing. Shout out to Andrew and Eric for racing so clean this whole season. It's been an incredible season. We've had a lot of close battles. It seems like we're always within the draft of each other. So just a huge shout out to them for always racing clean, the league for a great series, and you guys for being in the booth and putting on a good show for us.
It's an easy show to call when the races are exciting, as you guys seem to make it each and every week. So congrats to you on your successes tonight, a win and a second. Mariano Barrios having a good night tonight. Congrats.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All right, there you go. Thanks so much to Mariano Barrios for joining us here this evening. And so, Larry, let's start wrapping things up here from Summit Point Raceway. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up in the next few weeks here amongst the different Ricmotech series. So next week, April 15th, the Ricmotech World Challenge, the finale. It's round number 7 at Suzuka, 75 minutes. And I wouldn't say that having the Formula One Grand Prix this week at Suzuka had anything to do with that, but it might have. In 2 weeks, the Touring Car Cup returns for the round 8. That's the finale. We're going to be at Virginia International Raceway, heaven on earth, 60-minute run to the checkered flag. And then in 3 weeks, April 29th, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series returns for our LMP3 and GT4 cars. Round 1 is going to be at Imola, a 60-minute battle royale. If you're interested in joining the league, you can still sign up. Registration is open at xmsracing.com. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next week at Suzuka. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.